gosh, welcome to the first video. That's how I feel about this, okay? We are gonna review some graphing stuff. I know you remember this from Algebra 1. You probably even remember it from geometry. But we're gonna warm up by saying, hey, find the slope of these lines. Now, they're pretty small on your sheet of paper, so I blew them up a little bit. There's a few ways you can find the slope. There's a formula for it where you subtract the y's in the numerator. Like the official formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the way I remember that is like a picnic table. You have the legs of the picnic table on the bottom, the x's, and then up top you have some glasses of water. You know what I mean? So that's one way you can do it. If they just give you the coordinates, you can do that. But if they give you the graph, to me it's easier to just count the slope. So slope is always your rise over your run. And we always go from left to right. So if we're going from left to right here to here, I see it's going down. So when it goes down, that means our rise is negative. So we're at 0, 2 right now. So if we go to 1, that's down 1, 2, 3. So we went down 3, and then we ran over one space. So it's negative 3 over 1, and then you just simplify that. So our slope here would be, and we'll say m equals negative 3. Our slope is negative 3. So let's try another one. We have a second one down here. Let's extend this page. Whoa. All right. So let's count this one off in green. Here's our first point on the left. We're going up to this point here. So I see we're going up 1, 2, and then we're running over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So 2 over 5. So m equals 2/5. That's not bad. It's almost too easy. So let's start graphing the different forms. There's 3 major forms. Slope-intercept form is the one you're probably most familiar with. And that form is y equals mx plus b. Now, all they're asking for is the formula, but let's label the important parts of the formula. M is the slope, right? It's always right in front of your x. That's your slope. And then b is the y-intercept. Now, to me, I'm like slope, there's not even an m in there. Y-intercept doesn't have a b in either of those words. But to help me remember, b, the y-intercept, is where we begin. And then m, the slope, is how we move to the next point. So we'll get back to that. All right, point slope form is the goofy one. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So again, there's a few important parts. M is your slope, so I'm not going to rewrite that, mostly because I don't have a lot of room there. So y1 is your y coordinate, and x1, x sub 1, is your x coordinate. So we're going to graph one in each form today. And then standard form, ax plus by equals c. So the x's and the y's are on the same side of the equal sign. There also can't be any fractions. Hey, watch it, basketball hoop. No fractions allowed on that. So some people say, oh, you leave an ax by the c. It's like, is that going to help you remember? I don't know, but I've heard that. All right, a vertical line is an equation like x equals 5. That'll just be a vertical line at 5. And a horizontal line would be something like y equals negative 1,000. That would be a flat line at negative 1,000. All right, so let's get into slope-intercept form. These to me are the easiest ones to graph. So it gives you a little hints here. Figure out the y-intercept, put that point on the graph. Okay, so step 1 says y equals negative 2x minus 2. So our b, our y-intercept, is negative 2. If it has a minus there, you have to include it like a negative. So this is the y-axis, the up and down. So we're going to cross that axis at -2. It intercepts the axis at -2. Step 2 says from this point, use the slope to find the second point and plot it. Now our slope is -2. But I want you to always think of slopes as a fraction. So -2 is a fraction, it's just -2/1. So if it's positive, we're going to go up and right. If it's negative, we're going to go down and right. Now we can go to the left as well, but if you kind of just remember how you read along a page, left to right, it'll make it easier. So from that point, we're going to go down 2/1. That's all we need to graph this line. But like up here, I can't use a ruler on the smartboard. So what I can do is I can just keep using that slope and making more points. So I can keep going down 2/1, down 2/1, down 2/1. Now if I did want to go backwards, you can kind of see how the line is going. So if I want, I can go up 2 and left 1. But if you have 2 dots and you have like the straight edge of a folder or a ruler, then you could just draw a straight line through those 2 points and you're done. Oh, I missed a couple dots there. So that is slope-intercept form. Again, probably the one you're most familiar with already. Next one is point-slope form. So first thing, and the nice thing is like slope-intercept form tells you the slope and the intercept. Point-slope form tells you a point and the slope. What? And then standard form tells you the standard. All right, so that doesn't work for standard. So we're going to figure out the point and plot it on the graph. Here's the deal though. The formula has subtraction built into it. So it's always like the opposite of what it looks like. So if it says x plus 5, that means my x coordinate would be -5. Right? It's a little goofy. If it says y minus 2, that means my y coordinate would be +2. It's always the opposite because there's subtraction in the formula. So I'm going to plot that point first. -5 is 5 to the left, and then 2 is up 2. Then step 2 says you use the slope from that point to find the next point. Our slope is 1/2. So from that dot, we're going to go up 1/2. And again, you can make as many dots as you want. So up 1/2, up 1/2, up 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. We can go backwards. We can go down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. We have plenty of points there. All right, one more form. One more. Standard form. Now this is probably the one you're going to use the least, honestly. But hey, it shows up. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the intercepts, where it crosses the x-axis and where it crosses the y-axis. And it's actually very easy. So the very formal way would say, substitute in 0 for y and solve for x. Now if I put 0 for y right here, what's 4 times 0? 0. So it goes away. So what I say is, kind of in your brain, cover up the y's and write what's left. 2x equals 8. And then you do the same thing with the x's. If I were to cover up the x's, I would have 4y equals 8. You solve both of these, and then you graph those intercepts. So here, 2x equals 8 means 2 times some number gives you 8. So we can undo that with division. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So this means our x-intercept is at 4. If we do this over here, we divide by 4. Y equals 2. Our y-intercept is 2. Now you know the y-axis is the up and down vertical axis. So it says we're intercepting at +2. So that's up here. Our horizontal x-axis intercepts at +4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 to the right. Boom, we got our line. Now you can always go around into these different forms. So if you forget how to graph in standard form, you can get it into slope-intercept form. Let's see, 2x plus 4y equals 8. It's just going to require a few steps. So you'd have to subtract the 2x, which then we'd have 4y equals -2x plus 8. And then we'd have to divide everything by 4. Now -2/4 would reduce to -1/2. and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now if you were to plot this, you would start at positive 2, and then our slope is negative 1/2. So you go down 1 over 2, boop, down 1 over 2, boop. It comes out to the same line. So backside of this is some problems for you to try it out on your own. Try them out. Make sure you're good with the graphs.